Hey everyone, Motivation with Tash, your self awareness life coach by experience. A couple of things I wanted to address today. So, here we go. Relationships are not just intimate, they're not just couple relationship, they're not just a partner relationship, they're also friendships, okay? And a couple of things that I would like for you guys to keep in mind. All right. So, when you have friendships going on, all right, and you see that, the person is communicating with you, watch their communicative pattern. Watch how that communication is going. Watch if they're just texting. Watch if they're texting, calling, video, chat, if they're open to that. Um, this goes for relationship too. Watch if the words that they're saying is words, but they're not putting it into play in a serious way, as in they're willing to communicate by text, but they're also going to exercise their video chat with you so you can have um, a view of who they are. You can actually see the person, you can speak with them, you can see their smile, their face, you can see if they're serious, you can see if they're ill, you can see how they are. You can see sometimes if a person, like let's say they're out and you might hear them on the road because you hear traffic in the background, or maybe they're shopping and they tell you, hey, I'm shopping right now, but I'm just going to take you with me. You know what I mean? To see how far they want to go with your communication. You understand? See how far they want to build with that communication. Relationship is important, but friendship is important too, to see how far that friendship is going to go. You can't just base friendship on text message. Text message, it's you texting. And if that person is texting and they're texting for a while and they're texting for a while and that's their pattern, well, there's something more deeper happening with them. And a lot of people want to say that they're healed, but healing means that a lot of stuff that has happened in the past, you have been able to get counseling. You have been able to see a therapist. You have been able to work with a life coach to help you take care of some of those areas that maybe you're feeling uncomfortable about, and you can work through that journey with them. So any new friendships you want to start making, or relationships you want to start making, you can have a more open mind to it. You can have a more sense of, okay, you know something, I'm going to go into this and I'm going to um, keep myself aware now of how I was feeling before, and I'm not going to let how I was feeling before interfere with how I need to feel now. I'm going to go in there with a brighter perspective that, okay, this is going to be more of a positive influence upon me and upon where I would like for this to go. And a reflection of that is going to be how you put yourself out to that person and how that person puts themselves out to you. So it's a two-way relationship. Okay? Also, not because a person is busy or you're busy or that person is busy, you can also check upon that person too. It's not always for you to check upon them. That person can be busy. Like you can have that person maybe could come down with a cold. Maybe their kids could come down with a cold. Maybe they have 100 things on their plate, right? That they're taking care of, and it's only them that have to take care of it, right? So sometimes you can, and you know that that person has like a hectic schedule, you can check upon that person and be like, hey, you know something, I know that person has a hectic schedule, that's my friend, and I know that person has a hectic schedule, he or she, they're by themselves, and it's them having to manage everything, you know? And so at the end of the day, you need to look at that as well. Okay. And, you need to look at what the person has going on in their life, what they have doing. They might be up from morning and they don't get home until night. They might be all over the place and back and forth. You understand? And the only downtime they might have is maybe on a weekend, right? So they might not get back to you during the week, or they might squeeze some time and get back to you in the week, but that doesn't mean that you cannot get back to them. That doesn't mean that you cannot call them. That doesn't mean that you can't send them a message like, "Hey, I'm just here to see how you're doing." And if you don't hear back from them, give them some time, because their schedule is something that you don't have control over and they don't have control over it either, right? So let's keep those things in mind when we're out here building relationship, building friendships, because every relationship should start with a friendship. And if you're already having that problem trying to build a friendship, then you're not going to get to the relationship part. Okay. And we really need to be honest and open about this. Okay. And a lot of people struggle in these areas. And that's why reaching out for support is important. The other thing as well, too, is if this person, or that you come across, if they tend to want to guilt trip you into things. So let's say you communicate with them after a while and you see that their pattern is still the same of the way that they communicate, then they make it seem like it's because you're not communicating with them. Like, after you have communicated with them and they might have sent you a message or so, like that, and so now maybe you need to reply to them, and maybe you haven't been able to reply to them. If they want to guilt trip you on your reply of not being able to reply to them, you need to be able to look into that, okay, and see why this person is doing this. Don't make someone guilt trip you, okay, into them, you not being able to reply to them. That is not a healthy friendship, much less getting to a relationship. It's not. Okay? That's the other thing that we need to be able to be clear about. Okay? And sometimes, it's in the next thing too we got to think about is, I always talk about, there's healing after hurt. And there's also a thing called release, right? There's also a thing called release. And anyone who wants to talk to me about that, you guys can send me a message and I'll be happy to speak to you guys about it. But being able to release a person is being able to know, hey, it's time for me to let them go, whether if they're my friend or whether if they're my family member or whether if they're my partner. And that release is something that you're going to be able to feel within you and inside of you. Okay? And so, and it's going to be based on how that communication is, and also how the response is as well. Okay? So it's two. It's not just one. You understand? And I'm really trying to get this message out so you guys can understand that friendship is a way not just to communicate, but it's not just body language. It's a whole altogether. And if a person is doing something that is going to change it and sweep it, or make it seem negative in some form of way, then at that point in time, you need to start reviewing things, and you can release them. You can release them with love, release them with no bad intention, release them and let them know, hey, X and Y. But you can release a person and letting them know that, this is not going anywhere. And so I hope this has been very helpful. And we are here to bring awareness and take care of yourself.